working. Oh, there we go. Hi, everybody. This is Tammy Ray, and we're so excited to have another Sidelines Unite team call. And it is July 16. Oh my goodness, mid-month. And I don't know if you're having the same kind of month that I am, kind of a slow beginning. And so I'm just really excited to have a guest speaker with us tonight. And I know that this is going to just give us all a little boost that we need mid-month to get our head straight and get our mindset straight for finishing out strong. And Moonhee is someone, I don't know if you guys have ever just, come across someone that you were drawn to. And even though I saw Moonhee on Facebook and, she's in a totally other side of the country from me, I always just resonated towards her and thought, oh my goodness, if I ever met her, I know we'd be friends. and I did get to meet her at GTC and just again felt compelled to have her come and speak to our team, and I'm just so excited. I know that you guys are going to get a lot of value from Moonhee. And so she is from Seattle. She has 3 kids. She is an electrical engineer by trade. And we just can't wait to hear your story, Moonhee, and how you were drawn to Arbonne and, your background and maybe some struggles that you've had and things that you've overcome. And we're just so excited to hear your story. So thank you for joining us tonight.
Oh my gosh, I want to thank you because I feel the same way about you as well. And I know that we've been Facebook friends for a little while, but I'm so glad that you reached out when you saw me walking by at GTC, because you, just in the few interactions that we've had since then, you were such a beam of sunshine. And so I am thrilled to be doing this for your team. So thank you so much for asking. So as I was kind of going through sort of what I wanted to say tonight with you guys, I was trying to make this like a little formal, like, okay, putting it down in bullet points and making it all organized and all of that. And I realized that there was just really so much I wanted to share that I couldn't necessarily make it all perfectly organized. So the thought that I kind of want you to kind of think about as you are hearing my story and hearing kind of my 10-year journey in Arbonne is don't quit and then decide where you want to be, because that is my story. That is my story in a nutshell. And so, so I was actually introduced to Arbonne 10 years ago. Someone gave me a sample pack of the Arbonne skincare and asked me to try it. And you guys, I'm going to be totally honest. When she gave me all the little bottles of things to use, I was not one of those people that washed my face. I had tried a few other lines in the past, and they had just never really done much for my skin. And so it wasn't something that I spent much time doing. But the gal that had given me a sample had asked me to just try it. And she was someone I was at the time I was leading a couple of newborn support groups for moms. And she was one of the moms in my very first group I ever led. And I really, more than anything, felt like I just needed to be supportive of her. And she gave me an out. She said I didn't have to buy anything. All I needed was to give her my opinion. And so I said, well, sure. If all I have to do is give you my opinion, I'm happy to try it. And I told her, I said, but I don't know if I can do all these steps. And she just really encouraged me for just 2 days to try every product for 2 days. So you guys, in 2 days, I had people who had known me for years and complete strangers telling me how great my skin looked. So clearly my skin was struggling for something. I was in my mid-30s at the time, and I knew I needed to be doing something, and my skin clearly needed something. And so I decided, you know what, my skin is loving it. People are noticing a difference. I am going to buy the whole set. I wasn't planning on it, but I spent the couple $100 to buy the whole set. And 10 years ago, you signed up only as a consultant. There was no PC option. But because I had so many friends and family asking me about what I was doing to my face, I said, why don't you come over and tell all my friends about it, because they're asking me and I have no idea, and I will kind of help you get started. I'll kind of introduce you to some of my friends and kind of help your business get going. You guys, at the very end of the presentation, just like we're all trained to do, she talked about the income levels in Arbonne, right? District, area, region, a national vice president. And at the time, so Tammy had mentioned that my background is in electrical engineering. I worked in corporate for many years before I had my first child. And when I tried Arbonne, I had two kids. I had a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. And I had been out of corporate for 4 years. I had actually gone back and got my real estate license because I needed something for me. I needed people to call me Moonhee and not Peyton's mom or Elliot's mom. And so I went into real estate knowing that it was something that I could do part-time. But you guys, I realized that real estate was not something that I could do on my part-time. Yes, it was part-time. Yes, I probably only worked 20 hours a week, but it wasn't the part-time that I wanted to work. And so I don't know if any of you are in real estate or have any experience with being a real estate agent, but in the state of Washington, when you become a real estate agent, you pay a few $100s to the brokerage that you're going to hang your license at, so that you're covered all the, the liability insurance and all of that stuff. And then you pay marketing fees, you pay key fees, that little key that gets you in the house. Okay, you pay key fees, you pay MLS fees, you pay marketing fees, you pay printing fees. They fee you to death. And so I had been a real estate agent for 7 or 8 months, hadn't made a sale. So I was paying a few $100s every month, hadn't made a single sale, so hadn't made a single commission check yet. And when the gal who introduced me to the product said, you can make a few $100s at just your first level of management, my ears perked up. And I said, I am not a salesperson, but all my friends are loving these products anyways. I think I can do this. And so you guys, I got into Arbonne not thinking that I was going to be a national vice president. I only got into Arbonne because I needed the few $100s that was going to help support my real estate habit. That was really why I got into Arbonne. But what I quickly realized was Arbonne was really something that I could work in. You guys hear this a lot when you're in Arbonne, that I could work in the nooks and crannies of my day. And I did. So I decided that I was going to do Arbonne. I became a district manager in 2 months, which is probably what you guys teach and train your team as well. I became an area manager in 6 months because I'm one of those people, and I'm sure many of you are this way as well. When you find something that you love, you tell people about it, right? I mean, most of us in Arbonne, we all do that. And I love this product so much. It was doing such wonders to my skin. I couldn't be quiet about it. And so I was telling everyone. So I became an area manager in 6 months. And at that time I thought, gosh, district in 2, area manager in 6, surely regional vice president is right around the corner, right? Okay, well, that's not what happened. Okay, so what happened was, I kind of stayed at area manager for a little while. And then there were, and if you've been in the business for more than just a couple months, people come and go. So a few months after that, I actually lost my area. But I knew that this business, because I had gotten to area before, I knew I could get it back. So I worked a few months and I got my area back. And then I got pregnant with my 3rd child. And I didn't feel well and all of that. And so I took time off. You guys, don't work this business like me. I'm going to tell you right now, consistency is so key in making this business work. And as I'm kind of sharing my story, you'll kind of see that when I got consistent with my business is when the business actually started to work. And so, I stopped working my business about just a few months after I got pregnant because I didn't feel well my entire pregnancy. And then he was my last baby. Like, I knew that my 3rd child was going to be my last child. I had my first baby who, I don't know, for those of you that have children, when you have the first one, you feel like you can't do anything right. So you're so worried that nothing is right. And so I didn't really get to enjoy her as like this tiny little baby. And then my second one came only 2 years later. And when I look back in pictures and I have this little newborn, I realized my first baby was still a baby. And I had this other baby to take care of. And so I didn't really feel like I got to enjoy my second one as a newborn baby. So my 3rd one, I was like, you know what? My business is great and I love it, but I'm going to fully enjoy this 3rd baby. So I did. I took a year off and I told myself a year after he was born that I was going to get going again. And I did. And when I did, you guys, my business started moving again. Are you getting the gist of like when you actually work your business starts to grow? And so for about a year, I worked my business and I was working hard. And, and then my husband told me we were moving to San Diego. And though San Diego is the most beautiful place on the earth to live, I had never moved out of the state of Washington. In fact, I had never really moved outside of a 20-mile radius of Seattle because that was my comfort zone. My friends were here, my family was here. And so when we moved to San Diego, you guys, my world got turned upside down. And I will say, I think I probably fell into a little bit of a depression. I didn't leave the house for 3 months. It wasn't good. I realize now in hindsight it wasn't good, but when I started getting outside of the house, I'm not one of those people that, let me back up. I am one of those people that is deathly afraid that people are going to cross to the other side of the street if they see me coming down because the Arbonne lady is coming. Okay. So I did not want to be that when I got to San Diego. So I spent some time really developing relationships with people that were my neighbors, my children's friends' parents. I really just spent some solid time building those relationships. But you guys, I would say we were probably in San Diego for about a year before I decided to really start working my business. That whole time I was making a comma check. You guys know they call it a comma check because there's an actual comma in the check. I was still an area manager. I had a small team that was continuing to work. I had clients that loved the products. You guys, I was still making a decent paycheck the whole time. I wasn't working my business. And so as an electrical engineer, I was making really good money when I decided to quit. And I'm so thankful that we had the opportunity to make the decision for me to stay home with my babies. But my husband never really saw Arbonne or network marketing as a viable business. And so he had always wanted me to go back to work once the kids were in school. So now I'm at a point where my youngest is 4. He's getting ready to go into kindergarten in a year. And I have my husband kind of breathing down my neck saying, you need to get a job. You need to get a job. Do you guys, I don't know if any of you are still in corporate or have had a chance to leave corporate and needed to go back. The last thing I wanted to do was go back to corporate and have somebody tell me when I could take my vacation, when I had to be in at work, if I had to travel. You guys, that was the last thing I wanted to do. So I put my head down and I got to work. So I had 1 year to get into qualifications for regional vice president. And the month that he went to kindergarten is when I actually went into region quals. Again, here's the thing, and you guys, that was a decision. I didn't know how it was going to happen. For all intents and purposes, I was in a brand new area. I didn't know a lot of people. I didn't even have that many friends, but I just made a decision, a choice to do it. And you guys, you know what happens when you make a decision? The universe conspires to make whatever decision you make happen. It was the weirdest thing. So I'm just going to read through my notes really quick. So what I did was I really focused on the activity piece. Okay, I made the decision. I wasn't going to go back to corporate. I needed to be a regional vice president in a year. And I decided to just get to work. And so I just did the do. I asked a couple people to host events for me, and I hosted my own events and tried to book events from those events. Okay, this is all probably sounding familiar to all of you. But you guys, I think the thing that is the hardest for us to do is focus on just the activity. We get so caught up on the results of that activity, whether you make a sale, whether someone joins your team. We get so caught up on the results. And what you have to remember, and my engineering brain kind of helps me with this, is it really is just about numbers. You guys, the whole 30 or 40 faces a month, because that works because it's pure numbers. And I don't know if 30 or 40 faces, are you guys familiar with that? Yeah, 40 faces. You guys, so it really comes down to sheer numbers. So I just focused on the number. And I'm going to tell you, I think you remember me saying, when you make a decision and just start doing the do, things kind of come out of the woodwork and the universe kind of conspires to make that happen. You guys, here was the turning point in my business. I had found one business partner in San Diego. I was actually driving to go launch her. And as I was driving down the road, I saw It was it was my husband's coworker's wife. We had met once in passing, and she recognized me. And she, as she was walking her dog after she had gotten home from work, she recognized me as I was driving down the street, and she waved. And I was like, okay, well, I know this person. I'm just going to stop and wave. We had like a 2-minute conversation about what I was doing. And I said, I'm going to a party. That's all I said. She was like, oh, I wish I could go. And I said, well, you can. And that 2-minute conversation led to, you know what, you should take a look at what I'm doing. She had no idea what I did. And come to find out, she thought that I was in like pharmaceutical sales or something. She had no idea what I did, but I said, you know what, we should sit down and talk. Thankfully, and this is another little tidbit, you guys, have events on your calendar always to invite people to. So I was going to launch a new business partner. That week, I had my own product event that I was hosting at my own home. So as I was driving away from her, I said, hey, I'm having a little get together at my house. You should come in a couple days. She came. She heard about the products, and I asked her if she would consider doing the business. I went there 2 days later. She signed up as a consultant, and she is really the one that really kind of had this massive momentum. Within 3 months, she was in area quals, and her business was crazy. Okay. That commotion right there, from launching a new person, from asking pretty much a complete stranger to take a look at Arbonne and the business, her saying yes, and then the commotion that caused was really what propelled me into going into region calls just a few months later. And so all that to just say, you guys, just make the decision. Don't give up. Do the do, because that's really all it takes. I'm going to tell you right now, though, that person is no longer in my business. So people come and go, and you just have to remember, you got to just keep adding to your business faster than they leave, right? That's what you need to do. So the thing that I really try to look at, the question that I ask myself every month is, would I want to sponsor me if I was someone looking for a team member? Okay. And that really comes down to, am I doing my own due? Because you guys, that whole thing, people want to join someone who knows where they're going. That is so true. They want to join someone who knows how to teach what we're supposed to do. If you're not out there pounding the pavement and doing the Arbonne thing, it's going to show. And so just make sure that you yourself are focusing on your own personal activity as well. And see if you can create a bit of a commotion. So I know you guys know it's July. If you've been in Arbonne for a year, you'll know that fourth quarter is our biggest quarter of the year. We've got holiday products that come out. We've got people looking to buy things for other people and themselves as well. Okay, you guys, what if you took the next 45, 60 days and really put your head down and created some momentum into your business, so that come October, you guys are already rolling, right? And then you can really use that fourth quarter to catapult your business to whatever level you want to be at. Think about this. If you sponsored, think about what your business would look like if you sponsored 12 people this month. Okay. If you sponsored 12 people this month, think about the commotion that you would create in your business and the momentum that you would create. You guys, that commotion and the momentum that you create would take you for years. Now think about this. Think about it this way. If you, for the next 12 months, just sponsored one person, which is still good. We're always looking for 2 consultants to start every month. But let's just say for the next 12 months, you only sponsored one person. Do you think there's a difference in what your business would look like between if you sponsored 12 people in 1 month versus one person for 12 months? Guys, there's a huge difference, because you don't create that commotion. You never get some serious momentum to really propel your business forward. So think about that. So really, think about what you want your business to look like in the next 90-day cycle. You guys, in the next 90 days, we're going to be hitting that fourth quarter, which is the biggest sales quarter in Arbonne. So really think about what you want that to look like for you. And then The last thing that I'll leave you with is, and I don't get me wrong, I get caught up in this a lot because I've been in Arbonne for 10 years. I have stopped and started my business. Don't do that. I've stopped and started my business a lot, and it shows where I am in my business. But I'm going to tell you this. Don't ever compare. Don't ever compare your journey to anyone else's. Your journey is your journey. And, you know, there are people that have been in Arbonne for 4 years that are executive national vice presidents, and I could sit and wallow in my pity and just say, I'm not where they're at. I guess I'm just not as good as they are. You guys, that's not it. Because here's what happens. Our job is to sort. Our job is to sort. Our job is to ask questions. Everybody's a maybe, okay? Everyone on your list, everyone's a maybe. And our job is to filter, are they a no or are they a yes? Okay, that's our job. And if you think of it this way, and this is kind of what helps me get through the whole, you know, I'm not where they're at and they've been in for less time than me. You know, in Arbonne, we're looking for our aces, right? Aren't we all looking for our aces, those people that have the desire and the drive to learn how to become a leader enough to be an executive national vice president? That's what we're looking for. So think of a deck of cards. Okay, you have four aces. And you shuffle the cards, you know, you shuffle the cards a random amount of time. There are some people that, so we as consultants are looking for those 4 aces in the deck, okay? There are some people that are gonna find those 4 aces near the top of the deck. And those aces are gonna come easy and it's not gonna take a lot of time. And that's just sometimes the way that the randomness happens. And then there are others of us where the aces are going to be near the bottom of the deck. And it's going to take a while to get there. But you guys, they're all there. They're all there. It's just up to us to flip over enough cards, get through some of the hurdles, have the journey that you're supposed to have to find those aces. And so I just want you guys to know that, you know, quitting is not an option. Shut the back door. And you've heard it so many times. The only way you can't win in Arbonne is if you quit. And just decide where you want to be, because you can go, you can be whatever level you want to be at. You just have to have the desire to do so. So that's all I have to share with you guys tonight.
I love it. Thank you, Moonhee. Oh my goodness. So as you were talking, it's interesting because you were back and forth with the area manager. I just stayed a district manager for like 8 years. So, but I so agree with you that consistency is way easier than starting and stopping and starting and stopping. And it's just, it takes so much more to get those, you know, get things rolling in your business and get in a rhythm. And just to put it into your life, you know, just staying consistent, knowing, okay, I have these things I need to do each week, each day, each month, you know, and you're just in your habit and it just seems to flow way easier. And I too moved a year ago. And so it was, you know, it just throws you in the arena of just being really careful about building relationships, asking lots of questions, listening for the needs, you know, but now a year later, things are starting to roll, and it's really exciting because it's a genuine, organic flow, you know, because yes. They know me now and they can trust me. I agree too. I took so many notes, but people want to join someone in motion. People want to jump into a moving river, you know, so think about that. If you are in activity, then it's attractive. People, I know so many people just wait, you know, well, I'll wait to get started. Well, oh, I've been not this week. Oh, well, this isn't going to work, or this came up. And it's like, what are our excuses costing us? What are excuses costing our families? You know, and it's like, you need to just get your head around that why. And I love how you said that your reason for getting going, your kick in the pants, was that you didn't want to go back to corporate. So you guys, I think using what makes us most uncomfortable as our why is a really good way to think. Sometimes it's like pie in the sky to think, you know, peace on earth and I want to save the animals and whatever, you know. We need to think about what makes us so uncomfortable. It's going to make us work, you know. And I was thinking too that momentum, the definition of momentum is compressed activity. So I love how you said that 12, sponsoring 12 people in a really short amount of time will actually create that momentum rather than spacing it out, compressed activity. And you are so right. People come and go. We need to decide to be the lifers. And truly, I'm looking for the people with grit and with a big enough, strong enough why that it's going to just last the test of time. So that's really what I'm listening for these days, is someone with a really strong why. So I wanna just open it up. Does anyone have any comments or questions for Moonhee? Of course, I do have one question for you, and I'm just wondering, how did you handle, like I heard a little bit from your husband, but how did you handle, I mean, you coming from corporate, coming from a professional world, how did you handle people saying, you're doing what? Why are you doing this?
That's a great question. It's funny because people always knew me as the kind of person that, I was voted the one in high school where I was going to be a CEO. Like I think people just always trusted that for me, I would do what was best for me. And people didn't really question it. That's just the kind of person that I was. I think the person that had the hardest time with me doing something like this was me. I had a really hard time getting over that whole stigma of network marketing. And isn't network marketing for people that don't have anything else to do, that they can't go get a job, that they can't make decent money doing anything else. And so I spent a whole lot of time learning and educating myself on really what this industry is, because I didn't have anybody say, you're doing what are you doing? Oh, you can't do that. I didn't not a single person. My husband Paul was the only one that he didn't necessarily, he knew that I could be successful, but in his mind, he had the stigma of what he thought network marketing was. And so he was really the only person that gave me any kind of are you sure you want to do that? You guys, I spent so much time reading and researching, the Robert Kiyosaki's, all of the books of, the Dare to Dream and Work to Win by Dr. Tom Barrett. You guys, I spent so much time researching the network marketing industry because I was probably the one that had the biggest skepticism of whether or not this business really worked. And so, if you're in that space of people question you about what it is that you're doing, you guys educate yourself on our industry. Oh my gosh, there's nothing else quite like it. I can't tell you the number of, especially as a female, the number of moms that I see working so very hard in their day job. And then they have these little babies to come home to that still need their time and energy and effort. And then they have their husbands, and then they have their other, their extended families. You guys, that breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. And so we are able to have the best of both worlds. We are able to have this incredible business that can pay us gangsta money, right? But still have the time to be able to enjoy the money that we're making. And that is such a gift that you will not find in really any other business profession that will give you both time and money.
Huge. Thank you. I think you lend so much credibility, Moonhee, just because of your background. So
well, thank you.
We'd love to hear. I'm just gonna put it out there. I think you need to do a YouTube on social marketing and why it's a viable option for moms.
Yes, and oh my gosh, Tammy, you are reading my heart right now, because that is my heart. And I'm just really a little fearful about putting myself out there on YouTube or even Facebook.
I'll do it with you.
Okay, let's do it. I would love to team up with you to do that. Yes, let's do it. You guys, the one thing I remember when I first started Arbonne, I had heard a story about your why, and I think sometimes we think our whys need to be super profound, that it needs to be like, starting an orphanage in Africa or building a well for, 100 tribes. Your why just needs to be big enough for you. And I think for most of us, we come into Arbonne We come into Arbonne for money because some of us need it, and some of us just want to go on a vacation or want to buy a really expensive purse. And that, for some people, that why is big enough. But here's how your why was explained to me when I first started Arbonne. Your why needs to be this big for you. So imagine there are two extremely tall skyscrapers right next to one another. And you are standing at the top of one skyscraper, and there is a 12-inch plank connecting the roof of one skyscraper to the other one. Okay, there's $1 million sitting on the other side of that second skyscraper that's 100 floors up. If I said, if you walk across this 12-inch plank to the other side, you could have the $1 million, would you go?
Whew.
I can tell you right now, I'm deathly afraid of heights. There's no way. I don't care. $1 million nowadays doesn't even really seem like I could do a ton with it. It was not worth my life. It is not worth my life to cross that 12-inch plank, to go cross that 12-inch plank over 100 floors and get $1 million. But let me change the scenario for you a little bit. Let's say you are on top of the skyscraper, same scenario, 12-inch plank connecting the first skyscraper to the second skyscraper. And on the other side is an 18-month-old child who's just learned to walk. Would you even think twice about running across that plank to try and save that child? I know I wouldn't. Or maybe it's a puppy, or, if you don't have kids and like whatever it is, you guys, that's how big your why needs to be. So much, so big to you. Like I said, maybe not to someone else. So big to you that you wouldn't think twice about almost dying to get there, right? So just think about that. Think about what it is, because that was really what the shift was for me. Is that I didn't want to go back to work. I didn't want to go back to work. I didn't want to put my older kids in daycare. I didn't want to do any of my kids in daycare. I just didn't want to do it. And that was big enough, for sure.
And they say, all people who become a professional, become an expert, they get obsessively focused. And so I'm sorry, we have to be the crazy Arbonne ladies and guys, you just have to, and joke about it. I love how Peyton Mott says, I call myself the crazy Arbonne lady, so no one else can say it, It's like,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm obsessively focused because I know this can change people's lives.
And I will say that, and I'm still building that here, because though we've been back in Seattle for 2 years, we've just moved in our house. It's been less than a year. But when we were in San Diego, you guys, when people thought of Arbonne, they thought about me, and not in a bad way, right? And that's exactly what we want. We want people to think about us when that Arbonne word, that A word, comes into their mind. So you don't have to be, we can call ourselves crazy and make it kind of fun, and maybe that'll stick in their head too. But you guys, we want to be that person. We want to be that person that people think about when they hear the A word.
I love it.
Not the other one.
I love it. Does anyone have any comments or questions for Moonhee? I'm glad you all are here. Sue, it looks like you're ready to ask something. Okay. Well, I love, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I just really enjoyed the conversation and the humbleness, I guess, or just knowing that when you started, you had the ups and downs, and it just makes you feel better that you're not doing anything wrong, that it's just my journey, and this is how my journey is going to go. It's a little bit slower than what I wanted, but I just have to keep at it. So.
And because, I didn't see it this way when I was going through the ups and downs, but I see now, because like you said, it's just a part of most of our journeys. We typically have some ups and downs in our business. And I will say that because I've had ups as well as downs, it's easier to coach a team member through the same thing, right? If we don't have that experience, it's really hard to be able to relate on the same level, same feeling, same anything that they're going through. And I feel like that makes me a more effective leader. Now, don't get me wrong. If I sailed to MVP in 6 months and I had to learn along the way, I would figure it out. But our journey is our journey. And I do think that makes us it makes us effective leaders because we're able to help people through the ebbs and flows of our business and their business.
Yes. True. Well, thank you very much.
You're
I appreciated
welcome.
the evening.
Thank you.
Love it. Yes. Steady. This is something I've been saying over and over to myself and to my team, and, is just steady activity, steady emotions. Steady activity, steady emotions about it. Get off this roller coaster of, being so elated, then so down, and back and forth all over the place. And same with our activity, being all in, then all out, and all in and all out. It's like, just stay steady, 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 and you're gonna lay the foundation for an unshakable empire. I really believe that we just have to stay in that steady mindset, and it's going to come exactly when it's supposed to come. The people, I love how you said that. I actually looked up that quote. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, once you make a decision, the universe conspires to make it happen, and people will show up out of the woodwork. Circumstances it's like doors will start opening once you just make that decision. Something that also happens when you make a decision is, boom, all these obstacles present themselves to see how bad you really want what you've just decided. So both those things start happening.
Absolutely.
I'm always like, yes, this is a good sign. Everything's falling apart. Great. You're right on track.
Yes, you're so right.
It is. I see it over and over. Because it's true. Comfort is what we gravitate towards. When we get away from being uncomfortable, that's where we grow. But yet, that's where the tension is. We have to be comfortable being uncomfortable for a while, and just realize that all those obstacles are coming our way to make us grow and really get clear on what we want and what we're going for. So I just want to end on this quote. It's one of my favorites. It gives me goosebumps every time, but it's so true. This is by Gandhi. A small body of determined spirits fired by an unquenchable faith in their mission can alter the course of history. And I truly believe that. We've been handed a gift that has the potential to not only change our course and our future, but it's gonna make a mark in history. I really believe that this company is changing lives and giving people opportunities that they would have never had otherwise. And you guys, we're only 1% brand recognition, and so I truly believe that even we are blessed to know about this amazing opportunity that's here. So grab hold of it with both hands. We still have 2 weeks left in this month. Make the most of it. Make every day matter. Do something every day for your business that's going to move you forward. And I just can't wait to hear what all good things are going to come from this call. And thank you so much, Moonhee, for sharing your time with us. And we'll look forward to trading calls. I can't wait to talk to your team too.
Yes, absolutely. I can't wait. Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. It was a really great night.
Thank you, dear. All right. Love you guys. Have a great week. Good night.
Bye.